Hey guys, afternoon. A couple little tips for you. I want to show you what I use for an oil change on my truck and talk about how often I do it, because she's got 920,000 miles on her. So you really need to do things different on your oil change when you get up above 700,000. If you want to try to prolong her, I've been stretching her out. She's definitely about time for a rebuild. She's burning a quarter thousand or so, but she's been doing that for the last 150,000. So we're gonna get her in and get it done eventually. But before that, I do that. Just a typical Saturday down here in Southeast Missouri. Beautiful day. I don't know if you could see her out there. Maybe way back in the, can you see her? Wife's doing her normal thing, cutting the grass. Got about 8 acres we have to cut. We have 14 acres, but the house and shop takes up some, and there's a couple 3 acres we don't cut. So anyway, tire pressure. This is a big one and one of the most neglected things. Once a month, yeah, you need to go around and thump your tires every day. And you do that every day. If one's low, you'll feel it. You'll go, wait, that's not the same. So you'll get used to that. But that's not a foolproof thing. At least once a month, you need to put a gauge on your tires. And you need to do them when the tires are cool. Like I just washed the truck. See, I got the caps off. I'm getting ready to do it because the truck's in the shop, it's in the shade. So what you don't want to do is, if you're outside, then do it in the evening or early in the morning before the sun comes up. Because if the tires on one side are getting blasted with the sun, as it heats up, the air pressure goes up. So you don't want to set, you check that side and it's got 105 PSI and this side's got, or that side's got 110, and the shade side has 100, and you think, oh, I don't know what's going on. I better air them all up to 110. No, you don't want to do that. So the other side is at 110 because it's in the sun. So you want to check the tires when they're cool and not influenced by any kind of heat, like driving, sitting in the sun, whatever. So do it late at night, early in the morning, something like that, after they've all cooled down, and get them all right. 5 pounds of air can make a big difference on your fuel mileage. And this is one of those things guys neglect. And this time of year, you see all these tires blown, because low air pressure will cause the tire to actually get hotter. So when it gets hot outside under a load, if the tire's at 100 pounds, or if it's at 80, the 80-pound tire is going to get hotter because it has more friction. It's being pushed down onto the road more, and it's getting more road friction. So you want to keep your tires at the right pressure. I do 100 in the drives and I do 110 in the steers. They're all, I think it says 120 max on each tire, but I don't need 120 on each drive tire. It rides too rough. So 100 and 110, sometimes 115 in the steer tires. So yeah, once a month, actually get out a gauge and check your tire pressure. All right, and you'll get better fuel mileage, your tires will last longer, and you won't have blowouts and stuff like that. And another thing you need to do, I've got, maybe if I can remember, I'll flip this around. I have about 300,000 on these drives, and I think I can, well, let's see, about 250 actually. I think there's 250,000 on these drive tires, and I can easily get another 100,000. The reason that is I keep the air pressure right and I rotate them. So about twice a year I go in and pay them, and I take them, so that front right there, the front side you see right there, will go to the rear on the other side. The rear on the other side will come to that spot. And then the rear, get out of here, bug. That rear drive axle will go to the front on the passenger side and vice versa. So you crisscross them like that. If you do that twice a year and keep your air pressure right, you will get a lot more out of your tires. You'll get better fuel mileage, and all these things save you money. Actually, I'm gonna go air up the tires. And then I'll flip it around and do all that, but you won't see all that because we edit this all together. Here comes the neighbor lady. So we train them good down in the South. She needed to borrow our weed eater. Women do the yard work. In fact, it's against the law for men to do yard work down here. So watch out, you wanna be on a YouTube video? She doesn't wanna be on a YouTube video. All right, we'll see you, bye. All right, we got everything aired up, and yeah, the tires were all down. It's been a month, I think, maybe 5 weeks, and they were all down 2 to 4 pounds. No big deal, but let it go another month, then it's 8 pounds in a tire. Let it go another month, it's 12. You see, it adds up. So, yeah, check them. So another thing that I didn't mention, I might have dropped it in when I edit it, we'll see, is shocks. Shocks will prolong your tire life. You're not gonna get more than a year out of shocks. So every year, put new shocks on the truck. One way you can tell is run your hand on the tires. You feel any cupping, the shocks are bad. So after 250,000 miles and keeping the air up and good shocks and rotating it, we're still, will that focus? Come on. About 10, I think, or is it more? Hold on, let me look here. Get in there. I believe it ain't gonna want to focus, but it's right at, hold on, get this accurate. About 10-30 seconds of tread. We got quite a bit. You can go down to 2. I would never go that low, but it gets down around 6, I'll junk them out. So yeah, and of course 4 on the front, right? So shocks, very important. Get those, air up your tires once a month. As far as oil changes, you know, when an engine's new, you can go 15, even 20,000 miles, no problem, especially if you're using a good synthetic. But as the engine wears down, you need to keep the oil as thick as possible. The longer the oil goes, the thinner it gets. Well, so I'm doing 10,000 mile oil changes, and I use mobile Delvac, 10 gallons of that, and a gallon of Lucas. The Lucas is sitting out in the sun warming up. So this oil just seems to be as good or as close to synthetic as you're gonna get. When I run that, my gear case noise is really quiet. If I run the Delo, the Chevron, or the Rotella, the gear case noise is just louder. So that's not a scientific nothing, but that and this oil, I get the lowest oil consumption running this, okay? If I run the Chevron, the Delo, or whatever it is, the truck burns more of it. I don't know why that is. I'm not an oil analysis person. So, of course, if you haven't changed your own oil before, drain it when it's hot. When I got in yesterday, oil pan over there, if you can see it, I just pushed it under the truck. I have a quick drain valve. I opened it up. Make sure you take your cap and pull your dipstick out a little bit like that to vent it. Let it drain. I just let it drain overnight and went in the house. All right. Now I'm going to fill it back up, and I throw in whatever, 5 gallons. Throw the Lucas in. Throw the other 5, and then of course I start the truck and check the oil filter, make sure it's not leaking. Of course, I do pour a quart, actually I think it holds about 2 quarts, I'm not sure. That oil filter, you fill that up before you put it on. It's on the other side. We've already done that. I'm sure you can figure out how to put an oil filter on. And just check everything for leaks and let that Lucas mix in there good. All right, guys, that's all I got for oil change and air pressure tire shenanigans. Have a great weekend. As soon as I finish putting the oil in and running the truck, I am done. I get the rest of today off and all of tomorrow. So you guys should know by now, if you're an owner-operator, you're also the mechanic, office personnel, dispatcher, got all them hats. All right, God bless you. Have a good weekend. Bye now. I forgot to show you. It's always something little. I don't know what happened, but this bolt came out, so I threw 2 zip ties in. I just took this bolt out so I can run down to the hardware store and match it up, but it's always something, and I had to dig all that junk out on my side box just to get my little tread depth there, you guys. See how much love I show you? No, it's no big deal. I'll put it back in. So always a little something. I had to fix that, wash the truck. I don't know. I had 2 or 3 things on my list. Change the oil. Every weekend, it's always something. And you can see she's squatting down. I got an air leak somewhere. I can't hear it. I can't find it. Truck's going in the mechanic. next week for a sensor issue I got. I think it's a sensor issue. It's really weird. Every day, if I shut the truck off for more than an hour and I go to take off, it'll kind of stumble for a second and then it'll run fine. It won't do it again. So he thinks a sensor is stuck in one position or something. So, and the computer freaks out for a second. We'll see. But while it's in there, he'll have to go through. I guess I could do it. I just don't want to. You know, spray soapy water on all these valves. Tractor protection valve, cab leveling valve. The suspension valve's brand new. There's all kinds of valves. They'll see if they can find it. It's not a bad leak. It just, you know, overnight it loses a little bit. It'll get down to like 50 sitting overnight. Where it used to just pretty much stay. It might go from 110 down to 100. But obviously it's not an audible air leak. We can't hear it. So it's not a TOT violation, but I like to find these things before they become a problem and leave you sitting on the side of the road waiting for the Loves mechanic who you don't really want working on your truck anyway. All right, that's all I had. See you, bye, God bless you. And another thing, I just realized I forgot. I'm sure I'll get questions. What's my favorite tire? Look, that's a Ford Chevy fight that'll never end. I'm not gonna go down that road. I will tell you, tires is not, I repeat that, is not where you try to cut corners and save money. Junk, off-brand Chinese tires, they ought to outlaw them. They're gonna wear out funny. You're not saving any money, and it's gonna cost you longer. It's gonna cost you more. My tires will outlast two sets of those piece of junk tires, maybe 3. So my suggestion on tires is pick what you like, but I would stick to the brand names, the good ones that have been around. I'm a Bridgestone guy. I have Bridgestones all the way around. Those are M770s. Those are R213s. And those are 16 ply. I run 16 ply steers because the front of these Kenworth's really heavy. And I don't mess around with steer tires. Most guys except car haulers will run 14s. I run 16s. But if you like Michelin's, those are good tires. Yokohamas are pretty good tires. Firestone, man, they used to be. I guess they're probably good. I'm sure someone's gonna chime in and say Goodyear, this and that. Goodyear's probably good. I just wouldn't go with the El Cheapo off-brand Chinese specials. You know, that's why when I see a truck for sale, it says brand new virgin tires. Big deal. 9.9 out of 10 times that's going to be brand new virgin Chinese garbage that I wouldn't want anyway. So unless it's brand new virgin Bridgestones or Michelin's, that is not a selling point to me. So keep that in mind when you're buying a truck. Virgin tires sounds good. It ain't good if it's garbage tires. There's literally not enough money in this world to get me to run Chinese steer tires. If I bought a truck like that, I might run those Chinese drives out. What the heck, try to get 100,000 out of them or something. But I would go right from the lot. I wouldn't even haul a load before I'd go put good steer tires on it, because my life is worth more than saving a few bucks on tires. That's just me. So I've never blown a steer tire. I don't want to blow a steer tire. And I've seen what happens, and I lost a friend because of the steer tire. So it's one of those things you don't want to play with. You don't cut corners on tires, especially steer tires. All right, for real this time. For real, for real. God bless you. See you, bye.